I'm Steve Churm, Executive Editor of OC Metro and CEO of Churm Media, and this is my bottom line for April 2012. Let me be clear, this column is a direct solicitation. I'm going to share a story and then ask you to give something. 30 years ago, 3 South Orange County women looked around at their circle of friends, at their well-manicured neighborhoods, yet saw something that troubled them deeply. These 3 women, accomplished in their own right, knew others, less fortunate women, trapped in relationships that left them isolated, fearing for their lives, and sometimes, tragically, bloodied and ashamed. It saddened and then angered that South County trio, who were told repeatedly that domestic violence was a private matter, or one better left to law enforcement or the courts. There was just one problem. Nobody was reporting these crimes, so police and judges couldn't act. Worse, there was no safe house or shelter where battered women and their children could escape. Deciding enough was enough, Carolyn Churm, Margaret Thoreau, and Vivian Kleekak became champions for many. It was a time when awareness of such issues was limited. South Orange County in the late 1970s was still a sleepy string of bedroom communities where the politics were conservative, the population largely white, and the incomes healthy. It was not a time for 3 women to tackle an issue as emotionally raw as domestic violence. But they didn't listen to their peers. Joined by a 4th pioneer, Ann Wright, they created what is today Human Options by launching a 24-hour hotline for battered women and opening a 5-room shelter in Laguna Beach. One of their first decisions was to name Kleekak, a marriage and family counselor and a county mental health specialist, as the organization's first director. It proved to be their best move because 30 years later, Kleekak is still at the helm of Irvine-based Human Options, having helped serve more than 82,000 clients, mostly women, while also educating hundreds of thousands of school children, teens, and workers about the scarring and costly impact of violence against women. No taller than a stack of college textbooks, Kleekak is a towering figure regionally and statewide in the field of domestic violence. But she has stuck around not for status or accolades. She has remained in the trenches right here in Orange County because of the group's core mission. Women deserve to live free of fear for their safety and that of their children. At first, Human Options rallied support from middle-aged women, but as the group's voice grew louder and the public less tolerant of these shameful acts, Human Options expanded its emergency services. It has taken to classrooms, teaching that, quote, hands are not for hitting, and to corporations to report on the loss in terms of productivity. Human Options has energized young professionals to take a stand against domestic violence with its Why Hope chapter. Even men are standing up for women who cannot. The group's men's task force has raised tens of thousands of dollars in recent years through a public service advertising campaign called 100 Men. Still, 3 decades later, new voices continue to call the hotline every day, more women crying out for help. The need to support Human Options hasn't grown smaller, but rather more urgent. On May 11th, at the Balboa Bay Club, Human Options will mark 30 years of rescuing battered women. Aptly named Serious Fun, this gala celebrates life and raises money to continue the fight. What I ask of you is simple. Get involved by buying a ticket, underwriting a table, making a corporate contribution, or sending a check to this organization that deserves to be lifted and cheered for all it has done to lift and cheer so many others, and for all it has left to do. I'm Steve Churm, and thank you for watching my April edition of The Bottom Line.